Good morning. Today is August 8th, 2021, and we're on Zoom again or YouTube. And so I just wanted to say, I hope this is our last time that we have to do it this way. I do miss seeing each of you, and I'm looking forward to just having us all back together again. A couple announcements. The Spiritual Gifts Workshop, which was scheduled for this coming Saturday, we're going to do it in October. We're going to change that date, and there'll be a new date issued next week for that. I do want you to mark your calendars for that. It's a really good program, and I hope you'll join us. It's a Saturday, sometime in October. The other thing is our spirit groups is wrapping up their meeting today for the 4 agreements as part of our spirits group. So we're doing our social project today, which is awesome, as well as discussing the 3rd and 4th agreement. So if you're part of that spirit groups and you don't know where we're meeting today, call somebody in the group and they'll tell you where we're going to be. Today's also the celebration of life service for John Kuiper, and that's at 3 o'clock at the church. Please do join us. His family's has come in from out of town, and they'll be joining us. And so I hope you'll take the time to come on out and celebrate his life and his importance to our ministry. Next Sunday is our community orientation for becoming a member of our church. And so if you're interested in that, please just join us next Sunday after the service, and we'll meet right in the sanctuary after service, 10-15 minutes. So if you're interested in knowing more about it, this is the orientation with ways to do it. If you're interested in becoming a community member, we'd want you to come through that orientation so we can answer some questions. And those of you that are choosing to join becoming a community member will have an induction the following Sunday, the 22nd. We're also going to be celebrating next week our chaplain program. So I hope you'll join us for that. There's a little bit more of that in the e-news this week. I hope you'll plan on joining us with that. As most of you know, the chaplains have been very active throughout this entire pandemic. They've never let up. In fact, we even had a wellness committee that grew out of it to give everybody a phone call once a month, in addition to the chaplain call. So I hope you'll join us for that celebration, and we'll do that as part of our service. With all that in mind, so why don't we get ready for our meditation? And I'm taking the meditation from our daily word today, which is entitled Protected. Protected. And so if you'll just get in your position to receive the word of God through meditation, through our silence, through our connectedness. And I always encourage people to put down anything you might be doing. I know some of you might just choose to listen to this, but I'd like you to sit down, put both feet on the ground, and just give yourself these few brief moments of a period of meditative time so that we can commune with that higher power within us that for many of us we choose to call God. So through my oneness with God, I feel protected. I feel protected. Through my oneness with God, I feel protected. Sometimes I may feel at the mercy of a changing, tumultuous world I cannot control. This is never true. Even though the chaos of the world may swirl around me, at the center of my being is a place of perfect peace and calm. Whenever I am in need of a safe refuge, I turn to God within to reach this place of tranquility and reclaim my feeling of security and protection. The sun always rises after the longest, darkest night. I remind myself of this truth and feel grateful as I allow the light of spiritual understanding to release and reclaim whatever power I may have unwittingly given to a fear-based thought. Fully in tune with the divine presence within me, I move safely and confidently through every challenging circumstance. Through my oneness with God, I feel connected. Through my oneness with God, I feel protected. Let us take that statement into our quiet time. If you care to repeat it after me, You might find that helpful. Through my oneness with God, I feel protected. So now let us just get still for this brief moment. And if you'd like to pause the video and go into a longer meditation, feel free to do that. Let us just get still and go within with these words. Through my oneness with God, I feel protected. Ever so gently, we bring ourselves back to this moment of now and give gratitude for this time to just be still with our connection with God. So today is our fourth week of reviewing the Four Agreements. And so if you don't already have this book, let's see if I can get that in the view right. The Four Agreements. There we go. The Four Agreements. And today's the fourth agreement. And the fourth agreement is to just do your best. You know, it seems so simple. Don't we always do our best? It feels like we want to do our best, but do we? You know, I know for me, it's like, oh man, I could have done better there. And that's the key to this agreement. Yes, maybe you could have done better in this situation or that situation. The key is to not judge ourselves, because if you'd known you could have done better, you would have done better. You see, that's the thing. And if we can pause just long enough for the good within us to express in our actions, whether it be not taking it personally, not making assumptions, and being impeccable with our word. You see, this agreement brings those three to manifestation in their best possible form. And the thing is, when you do your best, you have the opportunity to just go, hey, it's like today's daily word. The sun always rises after the longest darkness. Every single day is a brand new day. And we as humans, when we talk about the book of law, because each of us have a huge book of laws that we live with, whether they're true or not is irrelevant. In our minds, we operate on that book of laws. And each of us has a different book. Each of us has different rules of how we navigate this human experience, even how we navigate the spiritual experience. So it's up to us to change those laws to be more in alignment with who we really are. But we have to get in touch with what the law is that we're trying to break and change. And that's rituals, habits, doing the same thing every day. And interesting, we've all been taught you do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. That's a definition of insanity. I'm all over that. I get it. But here, ritual is doing something to change the law that's in our book that is no longer true and we know it. But see, the mind, it gravitates to what they know, even if it's dysfunctional or not the truth. It doesn't matter. We do what we're familiar with. It's the human element. And so it's up to us to find out what we're doing that isn't okay anymore. And we change our minds about it, but we have to create an action statement. It's kind of like the fifth tenet, which says we must take action on this new knowledge we have. You see, you can't just say, oh, I know the four agreements. Oh, yeah, we did that book 6 months ago. Oh, yeah, it's a good book. You ought to read it. No, no. All four of these agreements are transformative in nature. Being aware of the power of our words to ourselves and to others, and to just do better. Do your best when it comes to the words that you say, especially about your body, and especially about the gossip and the things that we say about other people. We just do our best. When we catch ourselves doing that, we change our minds. We say, I don't want to do that. That's not living the law of love, because that's what this is about. Doing your best is the law of love. You see, because when you do your best, you can love yourself fully. You're not in need of anybody else's opinion. You're not in need of anybody else's permission. You do what is right. You just do your best. And when we start that habitual habit of always doing our best as best we can for each day, and not pick up how bad we were because we didn't do it as good as we should have. No, I'm going to do my best today. And we live in this moment today, which keeps us in heaven. You see, when we go back there, we live in hell. We go back there and regret and think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. And I can't believe I said that. Oh, I'm so blank, blank, blank. And they're all negative terms. That's not being impeccable with your word. That's not doing your best. You have to catch yourself saying these things about yourself, because your body responds. Your body will respond in a way that matches your thinking. That's the free will that God gave us, the ability to create, And I love his paragraph at the very beginning. The fourth agreement is about the action of the first three. Always do your best. You're not going to be 100% impeccable with your word, but you want to get better at it. You want to be able to monitor what's being said, what's being honored. And when you do that, you give yourself permission to explore the law that's going on. And which laws do you want to change? Which rituals do you want to create? I love his example of taking a shower and being honoring of your body, because our body is a representation of God. And if God is all good, then our bodies are good. But the words that we say and the assumptions we make about other things that are being said and how we take it all personally breaks down our bodies because of the ill effect it has on the microorganisms of our bodies. And you see, so the more we can practice doing the right thing, especially for our bodies, it's amazing. Your body will change. And I'm always asked, well, in Unity, I'm doing everything I can and I'm sick. Why am I sick? Yeah. There's rituals. There's that book of law that you've bought into. There's something within you that is causing the breakdown of your body. Now, here's the thing. You can't blame yourself. And that causes the need for forgiveness. It causes the need for, I'm sorry, and the pity and the victim. Doing your best relieves you of all of that. You no longer have to play victim. You get to say, I did my best. I mean it. Did you do your best? Yes or no? If the answer is no, then you know that you'll do your best next time. You see, we don't have to take count of how often we didn't do our best. Rather, just do your best with each circumstance that comes up. I say to myself, oh, I'm in the grocery line and there's somebody behind me, but I'm rushed and they only got 2 items and I should let them go ahead of me. And then I talk myself out of it and I get in the car and I go, I really should have let those people ahead of me. There's a law, a book of law within me that says, the heck with them. See, that's a book of law that I need to break. I need to break a little simple law that is not the right thing to do. That's below the line behavior. The impeccability of my word is sitting there. It's sitting there. So I need to shift it. It comes with the little things, right? I have a friend that spends 5 minutes 3 times a day brushing their teeth. When I heard that, I went, oh my God, what a waste of time. Being a little judgmental there, right? If I brush my teeth for a minute, oh my God, I'm doing my best. You see? Because my book of law said 30 seconds is enough. Well, it's not. I know that. So I do my best by brushing my teeth more. I spend more time on my teeth. And they've rewarded me. I have impeccable teeth. How cool is that? And so does my friend. Because her book of law said she needed to brush her teeth 5 minutes, 3 times a day. And I'm doing my best by increasing the amount of time that I honor my teeth. Oh, it sounds simple, but it is simple. It's the simple things, that the rituals that we can change this book that we've bought into untruths about ourselves. We've been talking about for weeks now about how we've bought into that we're supposed to die. We're supposed to suffer. And Ruiz says, no, suffering is man-made. It's not God-made. We've talked ourselves into the need for suffering. It's in our book. And if you don't want to suffer anymore, or you want to stop the suffering, you have to change the law that's in your personal book, the law that you're living your life by. You have to change your mind about it. And so we do the best we can. We do the best we can. Be your best. When you start making assumptions about what somebody said, it's up to you to change that ritual. Whoa, it's not about me. That's their stuff. That's their book of law. And the thing is about the more you get good at being your best, unfortunately, the more the universe is going to push back because they've got a lot of laws in each of their books, and they're going to try to convince you that what you're doing is never going to work. I tried that. It never works. That's a bunch of BS. No, it's not. These 4 agreements, be impeccable with your word. Don't take it personally. Don't make assumptions and do your best, can absolutely change the way you view your life and the way you live your life. And your life will be very different, filled with much more love. And isn't that what we say we want? We want peace and love in the universe. And then we bash somebody for not doing what they think they should do, what we think they should do. I mean, this coronavirus is a great example of all of this. How many of us are making all these judgments about other people, and we read it on the news, and another this and another that, and the CDC says this, and just do your best. Just do your best. That's all anybody's ever really asking you of. And your best is different than my best. And your best is different than it was yesterday. And it'll be different than what it'll be tomorrow. Because we each have this life that we're living based on the book of law. I know I talk a lot about this, but it's a huge thing within us. If you could write down every rule that you live by, it's a book. It's 300 pages, 800 pages, 150 pages. It's a book that you're living by. Your decision, your ability to make decisions are all based on this. And we've been filling that book with erroneous thinking. And now we have to take those erroneous thoughts out, those beliefs. We have to change it. And that's the core of this book. You see, doing your best frees you from victimhood, from blame, from irresponsibility, because when you do your best, as best you can, you don't have to judge yourself, because that judger, capital J, that judgment, that judger within you is very critical. And it's all based on what the laws are in your book. You see, if God doesn't judge us, why are we judging ourselves? It's a misuse of the faculty of judgment. The faculty of judgment is our discerning ability to say, do I want to go left or right? And we look at the facts and we say, this is my best course. We use our faculty of discernment rather than our personal judging of what we and others do. You know, they say the only one you're responsible for is you. So for us to judge another person is not being impeccable with our words. And when we hear somebody say something and we take it personally, it hurts. It's painful. So stop doing it. Stop being subjected to what others are saying about us. It's their stuff. You see, you can stand back and say, thank you for sharing. And it doesn't land. It doesn't take ownership within you. Oh, I'm a worthless piece of, see, I knew I would never amount to anything. Take that law out of your book and say, I am a child of God. And as a child of God, I can be happy. And then you ask for guidance. What is it I need to do to be happy? Stop taking it personally. Stop making assumptions about what you think or see out there. It's not true. What's going on for another person is frankly none of your concern. Now, that isn't being selfish. That's being aware. It's being aware of the ability to discern it all and to say, hey, wait a second. That's not about me. And then we can shift gears and go back to being at peace with ourselves just for this one day, just for today. When you feel yourself angst, when you feel yourself getting a little boiled up, you say, wait a second, I must be in violation of one of these rules. And we shift. We say, I'm not going there. I'm going to change my mind about that. Now, it's going to take practice like anything we've ever done. It takes practice in order to accomplish this. So we must be willing to do the work, because if we become willing, situations will provide itself for us to change one law within your book, or two or three or four. And we just keep plugging along, but we practice it. And I'm confident by practicing this, you will experience a more sense of tranquility and peace. You'll feel the difference within you. You'll go to bed at night, not reflecting on all the bad things you did, but reflecting on the progress you're making. Because we are making progress. You know, I get asked a lot, well, how do we grow the church? How do we manifest more people, more children, more younger people? How do we do that? And many times in ministry, it falls on the minister to do that. It's not the minister's job. It's nowhere in my job description to grow the church. I will provide avenues for you to grow spiritually. That I can do. But you need to take the growth. You need to take the principles and the experience and incorporate them into your life in some way. And by that change within you, you will attract others. And they'll want to know, what do you have? What's going on? You seem really good with life right now. After everything that's going on around you, you seem really cool and calm and collective. Well, you know, I'm a positive person, but if you want to know more, come to my spiritual home. It opens the door for a conversation. And of course, spirit groups is a great way, or any of our small group ministries, it's a great way to invite somebody in, to open the door for their transformational experience. Let them learn some tools and ways to change their book of laws. You know, we started this whole journey with below the line and above the line. And it's been a couple of years since we've really dived into that. And we're going to bring that back up in some form. But doing your best is the best way to attract people to your ministry, if that's what you're called to do. You see, you can manifest all those things within our ministry. When you lead the charge with your own personal journey, you can freely tell people, you won't believe it at my church. We just did this 4-week study on the 4 agreements. You're going to have the book in your hand, for God's sakes. It's awesome. It's awesome the way that we were able to dissect it. It's a great learning tool. We're going to open up spirit groups again in the fall for the lessons in truth. We're going to do 6 lessons for 2 chapters each in that wonderful book by Emily Cady. It's a great way to expose people to the truth of who they are. So you have any seekers in your life, people who are thinking about, especially as we get older, we tend to think more about God. So you can manifest those people within our ministry. Bring them in. Small group ministry is a great way to do that. So I encourage you. So your homework, let me get to the homework because that's important. The homework is to create a ritual. One thing, one simple thing. Of course, remember, put this, always do your best on your 3x5 card. So you have all 4 agreements sitting there for you to constantly remind yourself that you've agreed to change the book of law for yourself, to have a more loving, peaceful relationship with yourself and with God. This is an awesome challenge. So create a ritual. Maybe create a ritual around your body. I mean, do you tell your body how much you love it? It's a representation of God. When you say you love your body, you're saying you love God. We say we love God, and then we do the darndest things that are opposite of that love. Because God's in everything. Everything, no exceptions. He's in the chair you're sitting in. He's in this recording. He's within me. He's within you. You can turn that around in any way you want. The important element is that for you to recognize that creating a ritual about how you can express your love of God starts with your body. Of course, it starts with being impeccable about your word, which is also starts about your body. So I'd like you to create a ritual, any one it is, that furthers the wellness within you. You get to decide. What is it that you know you could be doing that honors your relationship with God in relationship to your body? Do it. Maybe it's a ritual of walking 15 minutes a day, but do it. Do your best. Go out there and walk. Wear a raincoat, a slicker when it's raining. Put a warmer jacket on when it's January. But create a ritual, whatever that is, whatever that ritual is. I know for me, I'm going to create a ritual about what I do to get ready for bed. I want to create a ritual around that aspect of being grateful for my day, genuinely, not just lying in bed saying, oh, I'm grateful for this happened, that happened. No, I'm talking about a ritual that honors who I am. And I suspect I might sleep better. I like that concept. I might be calmer and more at rest and less anxious. You see, because if I live in the moment, if we live in the moment, the regrets disappear, the worry about the future is gone, and I live in heaven right where I am, rather than in the law of suffering. I want to minimize my suffering. I hope you'll come with me on this journey. What have you got to lose except suffering? So I say, let's do it. Let's do it. And God bless you. And please keep your gifts and love offerings coming to our ministry. During this shutdown time, it's hard to keep things focused. So please invite yourself to send us your tithe offerings. And we will be back in live person. We'll all be in the office next week. So come join us on Sunday, the 14th. I think it's the 14th. All right. God's bless. Love you. And we'll see you next time. Bye now.